Welcome back, and joining me for a closer look at what's played out on the market scene today is Imtiaz Suliman from Sentio Capital. Thank you so much for your time, Imtiaz. Of course, it is tariff week, but I actually don't know how much attention then is being paid to it, considering the fact that the date now is not the 9th of July, but actually the 1st of August. What have you made of market sentiment ahead of that?
Yeah, thanks, Zanaki. I think what we've seen is a continuation of the push out of the final date for those tariffs to kick in. We should see some letters going out over the next 48 hours in terms of the tariffs and the rates. But I think the big deals still have to be negotiated, and that's between the US and China, between the US and Europe, Japan. So those are still pretty much in the balance, and it will take some time for that to be ironed out. So I think we'll have a prolonged time frame until we reach any conclusion on those major deals. However, we should see some of the smaller deals coming through. So, for example, we saw pretty much a framework in place with a deal with Vietnam, something in paper with the UK, and then I think a truce with China for now, but nothing concrete as of yet.
All right. Well, I mean, quite interestingly on the JSE, especially in morning trade, I actually saw the commodities under pressure. Actually, I even saw the resources. No, actually, the resources 10 complex is actually up at this point. I mean, are there any specific reasons why gold, PGM miners, and coal were under pressure today?
Yeah, we started off the day with the commodity prices being quite weak, but as the day progressed, that turned throughout the day, and those shares rebounded. I think that's largely on the back of some emerging market worries around Trump's comments with regards to tariffs and him putting an additional 10% tariff on those countries that are aligned with BRICS. So a bit of concern just around that, but nonetheless, we saw a recovery throughout the day.
All right. Well, talking about the commodity counters, diversified miner South 32 came out with a sense today that it's selling its Cerro Matoso mine in Colombia. The company says that it is responding to structural changes in the nickel market. Is this a welcome and expected move?
I think they're trying to focus the portfolio and see which commodities that they want to have for the long term. And nickel is not one of those commodities. They very much focused on some of the other base metals. Copper is very much in demand. It's a key input into the transition to renewables. But nonetheless, we saw the nickel price come under pressure over the last year or so. And if you look at the World Bank forecast, that is also looking quite weak in terms of the outlook for nickel prices. But there is another buyer for that asset. It looks like there's a Turkish player that wants to buy and consolidate the nickel market. And I think at some point, that price will also turn as supply and demand comes into balance.
Well, Imtiaz, before we go to your stock pick, I did notice that after market close on Friday, Vodacom and Remgro gave us an update on the massive deal. Of course, this deal has been on the cards for over 2 years now. So they basically said that they've extended the long stop date. And I mean, this is quite interesting considering that last week we got an announcement from Sun International that the company and Piedmont are not extending their long stop date, so meaning that they're leaving the deal with Vodacom and Remgro. Does this signal their commitment to getting this deal over the line?
I think Vodacom and Remgro would definitely like this deal to go ahead. It works very much in favor of Vodacom gaining assets to some of the fiber assets, which it needs in terms of consolidating the market and aiding growth in a very mature South African market. But that has reached some sort of hurdles with regards to competition commission issues. And they're waiting for reasons from the competition tribunal, which still has to be given to Vodacom. But I think, if it does drag on for very much longer, I think you would see a parting of ways. And the company like Vodacom looking at more of an organic basis to build out their fiber operation rather than trying to do it via acquisitions.
All right. Well, Imtiaz, let's get to your stock pick for today. What are you choosing?
I'm going with an international company, L'Oreal. They play in the beauty segment. They have quite a diverse portfolio of brands with regards to skincare, makeup, perfumes, etc. And it speaks to a trend of consumers wanting to look good, take care of themselves. And L'Oreal has quite a big market share of around 14% of the global market. They do generate quite decent returns and operating margins of 20%, very cash generative from that basis, which they use to make strategic acquisitions and also to pay dividends and share buybacks. So I think overall, a structural growth company that is well positioned to benefit from this trend of consumers wanting to look good and take care of themselves.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and for your insights there, Imtiaz, on what has moved the markets today. That was Sentio Capital's Imtiaz Suliman.